back. It is your Feel Good Breakfast Show, and you're just in time because we're going to take a look at introspection. It is a way to get up close and personal with ourselves. Now, but how can you help with reassessing the goals that you've set for yourself at the start of this year? Now, registered counsellor Shanaas Moos is with us, and she's here to help guide us through it. Shanaas, it's so great to have you here.
Thank you. Morning. I'm well, thanks, Real.
It's really good to have you here, always knowing that I'm going to be educated or something's going to shift in my mind. So let's get into it right now. Why is introspection so important when it comes to not only just looking at yourself, but also setting your goals?
Yeah, introspection is that form of analysis or looking inward. You know, we can't change or do anything with our life by looking outward. So introspection is about what within me needs to change to facilitate change on the outside. So that's the way we do introspection, but most people don't really bother because they're too busy.
But it is easier said than done, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Hopefully you can help us with that. What are the types of questions, other than what must I do internally to have external results? What type of questions can we ask ourselves to help us on this endeavor that we are going through?
Yeah, the questions are like, am I happy where I am? You know, is this something that I always plan to do? Is this a relationship I want to be in? Is this the job I want to be in? So we're reflecting on what is going on now, and did we consciously choose the actions that took us to that point? So it's the when did I decide this, or did I decide this? How would I like to change it, or if I would like to change it? So it's a lot of those kinds of questions which most people don't often take the time. You can think about it, speak out loud, or you can journal about it if you're a journaler.
Yeah. Okay. Look, I know there's no specific time, like now's the best time to start, because I think now is always the best time to start. But when we take into account the fact that we're in the middle of the year, this would be a great time to re-look at some of those goals, right? So you're mentioning now that the way in which we do that, we've got to ask ourselves those questions. How else can we kind of implement this change right now? Because I think a lot of us are maybe looking at this half of the year, how it's flown by, and realized, whoa, I need to make some changes. I want to maybe do better than what I've actually done in this first year. Let's step it up.
Yeah, but you know what? It depends on how did you set those goals in the first place. So if you use like the SMART method, you know, which is where your goal is specific, it's measurable, right? It's achievable or attainable, right? And it's relevant to your own life. And then there was time bound. So how can you assess a goal that you didn't set in a time-specific way? So if you haven't set your goals in a way that makes sense to your life, but goals without value knowledge is like, you know, me trying to drive a truck with my little license of a normal, whatever code, whatever that is. I don't have that. I can drive my car, I can't drive a truck. So when you set goals, what are your values, personal and professional? That's the most important element in setting goals. And a lot of people, when they get to therapy, I have to do a values exercise because they don't know. There's this theory in your head, I'd like to live by these values, but hello, there's the reality. And that's where you need to make the two come closer together.
Nice, I like that. I love that answer, and this is something that we're going to carry on chatting about in just a second. Mzansi, we're talking about introspection, looking within, and especially with this time of the year. It's halfway through the year already. We might be wanting to change some of those goals, so you definitely want to stick around for that, because we're going to assist everybody in realigning and achieving as well as slaying. So don't go anywhere. We'll carry on with that.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Yes, Mzansi, welcome back, your Feel Good Breakfast Show, and also welcome to the middle of the year. Yes, it is here, and we're going to continue our conversation with our registered counsellor, Shanaas Moos, as well as fitness expert, Seb Prentice. And we're talking all about dealing with failed goals and knowing when to change your goals. And right now is the perfect time for it, halfway through the year.
Halfway through the year. Shanaas, we all set goals, we don't reach them, we fail, but I always believe there's a lesson to be learned. What can we learn from a goal that we perhaps failed, that we've set for ourselves?
Well, the first thing we learn is about flexibility, adaptability, resilience, and also how can I do it better, or what can I change? We have to focus on the gift, like the lesson, because that's what the failure gives you. It gives you that way forward.
I like that, the gift within it, and that's so well said. Seb, welcome to the couch. It's always great having you here. Someone that I love in terms of your meshing of the physical with that mental, and you do that so well. You work with clients as well, trying to assist them in their goals. What do you think is the quintessential part of changing those goals, of implementing change and helping your clients to achieve that? What do you think is really important in that process?
I think a big part that was touched on earlier was introspection.
Yeah.
I think knowing yourself and knowing what's important to you and staying along that path is very important. And then I think breaking that down and making it achievable also, what was mentioned earlier. So taking one step at a time. If you have a certain goal that seems quite daunting, break it down to simple steps. Make it manageable, because it's very easy to get overwhelmed with goals.
Yes.
And also, when you're feeling inspired, you want to set a lofty goal, and it's like, oh, this sounds amazing. Let me go for this, which is great. But
how do you
break
get
it down?
there? Yeah.
Break it down into little steps.
So the question is not to maybe necessarily limit that goal. It's to really find and describe the pathway to how you're going to get there. Is that right?
Exactly. I think micro goals are very important.
Okay.
So little goals that fall under that main goal that you set for yourself.
Nice.
Now, I know that, often by setting those big goals, we're setting ourselves up for failure. So can you perhaps give us a practical way of how someone can set those micro goals?
Sure. Firstly, I think just the perspective on failure, it's not always a bad thing. I think it's actually a gift in many ways, and that's a big perspective shift that people can make. So it immediately takes the pressure off. But in terms of setting those micro goals, it's okay, what are the constituent parts that build into this main thing? So if I want to achieve a certain result on a test or something, okay, what are the various little subjects or little focal points that I need to master or learn to feed into that final assessment kind of a thing? Okay. Yeah.
So is this something that I could maybe build on from? And if I'm in a position where I'm trying to make this decision of, do I carry on with this goal? Do I keep pushing? Or is it time to take a reality check and maybe deviate or change that plan or that goal? Is this something we'd use as an indicator for that? Or when do we know that it's the time to either carry on persisting with the goal or move on? Maybe I can ask this from both of you, because you might have different perspectives on this.
Okay, from the mental health part, I think that when not achieving your goal starts to affect your life, so all you can think about is how you're not there, which then totally takes away from the mindfulness of what is there and what have you achieved. You'll feel like a failure all the time without getting the gift part. It affects your self-esteem because you feel like, I'm never going to do it. And you'll be filled with self-doubt, which then seeps into the rest of your life. So you have to reflect on, okay, this is not working. There's too much negatives. A goal should make you jump up in the morning, yes. Yes, I'm getting closer, yes. When you start feeling the no, or the oh no, or the dread in your stomach, or that, then you got to reflect and think, oh, this could not be what I need to do right now.
Okay. That makes sense from the mental side. Seb, do you have anything to add to that, maybe from a holistic point of view,
I
perhaps?
do, yes. Coming back to the introspection, I think, so Angela Duckworth, who I'm sure you're familiar with, speaks about people who stick to things and achieve amazing things in life. She has this idea around having a goal hierarchy and what is your overriding gravity pole in life? What is your purpose? So mine would be to help improve people's lives using physical movement as my vessel. If it doesn't fall within that and I'm really struggling on this goal that's underneath that and it's not feeding into it, you can get rid of it. It's fine. If it's not serving that overriding goal, then you can discard it. And having the self-awareness to realize when you've deviated a bit from what the overriding purpose actually is, you can have that guilt-free kind of discard, you know?
Nice.
I love that. I really love that. And I love the wisdom both of you have been sharing with us today. Shanaz, maybe I can ask you this. When it comes to finding that balance between keeping yourself accountable for achieving your goal, but also that self-compassion when you don't reach your goal, what is the best way to really find that balance between, cool, you need to pick yourself up, or actually, you know what, let's reassess?
Yeah, that self-accountability is something that is such a key element of self-awareness that a lot of people don't have. So when we try to live a more authentic life, accountability and self-compassion are two key elements. Okay. And most of us struggle with self-compassion because it's not how we were raised, in that nurtured way. So I think that if you start to beat yourself up all the time mentally about not reaching your goals, that's not balance. There's this technique that I teach people, and I do it myself. What would I say to my best friend? And I would say something very different than what I would say to myself. I mean, oh my word, you've been trying, don't be so hard on yourself. So I put myself in that place of my best friend, and I'm giving myself the best advice because it's nurturing, it's comforting, and it's supportive. It lacks the other part. When you don't have that, it's judgmental, it's critical, and it's normally very, very hurtful and painful to receive it. So I'm doing it the other way around.
I love that. That's a great sort of exercise, I think. It's always an absolute pleasure when you educate us, when you serve us, and you guys do that so brilliantly. So thank you for chasing and achieving your goals constantly through the show. I think it's a vessel for that. And for you, Mzansi, maybe this is a great reminder for you to take account of what's happening in your life, take accountability, and maybe have some time for introspection to see where we can make changes in our lives and improve those goals and send it to the top. Good luck to you.